Welcome to GNT, your one-stop shop for gaming news and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
Today, first we're going to go over E3, um, all the big games that were announced there. We'll start off with EA. They announced their FIFA, Madden, and NBA 2018 games, which
I think now it looked like they're now starting to try to have more of a story mode. And I think that's smart. I think you got to add a little depth, add a little bit of variety to the sports games because they aren't what they used to be anymore. And as much as we're connected, I think you're disconnected with sports games because people don't want to hear the trash talk over the mics and stuff. And so sometimes people don't use mics, and then that kind of then you don't want to then you wouldn't play multiplayer. So then you got to get that draw to want to play the single player.
yeah.
So,
And I think a big thing, it used to be with sports games, year to year, there'd be big improvements. Now it's it's not so much. I mean, if you look at probably 2015, 2018, there'd probably be some difference, but
graphically, but it's
nothing.
Just at the end of the day, we're reaching those plateau marks where, especially whenever you're trying to have the most realistic graphics year after year, you don't see that improvement as drastic as you used to.
Yeah. Next was Battlefield 1, a DLC coming out in the name of the Tsar. It's focused on a Russian front. So if you've been playing Battlefield 1, there's more coming for that. Need for Speed Payback. It seemed to me like a Fast and Furious, more like destruction and stuff. And the one thing, I watched the trailer again today just to refresh myself, and one crazy thing was they're going after this truck, I guess, and the car says they're going like 120 miles per hour, and the truck is like zooming out ahead of them like this big armored semi. I'm like, holy cow, what kind of truck is that? But
Probably a fast one, I'd say.
I guess so, yeah. So I wasn't real impressed with that game, but
well, I think that they're trying to capitalize, A, like you said, on the Fast and the Furious, and B, maybe add a little bit of the Burnout twist to it. Yeah, Burnout was its own game, but it was a lot of fun, so maybe they're trying to clash those two together and try to bring back that fun that you used to have in Burnout, but mix it with the Need for Speed franchise. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I haven't really followed any of the Need for Speed games the last few years.
No, I haven't either.
Really, got me pumped or had me enticed to play one of them. So maybe I'll keep my eye out on this one and see, if it's something that I should, really take a look at.
Then they had a new game, A Way Out. It's a co-op escape from jail game with a big emphasis on the co-op. I guess you need someone else to play the game. There's no AI for it. Big emphasis on the split screen as well.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know how niche it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play the game and you escape, could you go through and play it again and try to escape in a different manner? Is it going to be that much of a difference? Are you just going to be switching roles instead of me, making a diversion, you make a diversion, or how much diversity are you going to have?
Yeah.
It's a novel idea. Is it a $60 game worth idea? Probably not. I think it's just probably a one-trick pony there.
Yeah, I see it as a game that you'll probably see on YouTube or streamed a lot, but I'm not sure if there'll be a lot of people, especially if they're playing by themselves. I mean, they're definitely not going to get it, but
I couldn't see myself watching that, even though it's being streamed though, because I just have no desire. Like I said, you'd have to bring a lot of things to the table as far as the different ability, or the ability to do different things, and it'd have to, like I said, have a lot of variety in it to make it worthwhile.
Yep. And then the thing I was looking forward to most from EA was Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they were showing some gameplay of that. And I'm getting pretty excited for it. I really liked what I saw. I saw Angry Joe got to play it and did kind of a review of it. And I watched him play, and it was the battle of on Naboo, which I think was what they showed mostly. And he got both sides of clones and the droids, and I really like both. I actually like the droids a lot more than I thought I would. And it's cool how they set up, you gain points, and then you can spend the points on different heroes. The most expensive being the Jedi or Sith usually. Um, so we got to play as Darth Maul, which is cool, and then Rey, which she had some cool powers. Like she had one where she could sense enemies through walls. She had like a mind trick thing, which I think just kind of put the droids on the fritz, and they would like turn around, and run away, and stuff. And
Now Rey from Episode 8 or
uh,
Episode 7, I mean.
yeah, yeah.
See, I don't like that. She has no place in Naboo. She has no place in that battle.
I thought that too. I mean, it just seems. I mean, it's out of place. It's not a huge thing for me though.
It's just, they kind of missed the beat on the first one with the, really capturing the scale of the battles, and now on this one, having it all wishy-washy as far as having characters from different timelines and being able to be playable. That really just makes it even more, that much more not interesting to me.
I would prefer it, I think, if they would have had like Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, like young Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon. Yeah. But I mean, I still like the looks of it. You could spend your points on
Mace Windu.
But
you could have had a number of different Jedis that you could have had there.
Yeah,
that would have been far better than Rey.
Now I don't know if they're just trying to show off that they have all the eras there, or if that's definitely how
or
it's
even
going to.
Jar Jar.
Oh,
I'd rather have played a Jar Jar as opposed to Rey in the Battle of Naboo. Come on.
No, but I really liked it. I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know.
And a free DLC. Once you buy the game, you'll make any other purchases for
I think
DLC.
they have to go that route. You know, too many developers are going the other way, and I think they saw how Titanfall 2 did, and I think that's the way to go.
Yeah,
especially at a first-person shooter. Anything that's going to affect the game should be free. Can you pay for vanity packs? Yeah, I don't mind that. Anything that affects the game to give a player advantage or not advantage, I would say it would have to be free. And that's kind of what Titanfall 2 did. You could buy skins and different looking Titans and stuff, all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Anything that actually affect the gameplay was free, and that's the way it needs to be.
Yep. So that was it for EA. Microsoft, obviously the big thing was the new console. Came with the name Xbox One X. I personally love the name. I saw some people that were kind of ripping on it, but I mean, it spells out Xbox, which I thought was clever, so I was all in on the name. It's going to be their most powerful and smallest console yet, which I thought, again, was a cool point for it.
Yeah, I saw some comparisons to the Xbox One S, and it's a little wider than the S, but it's not as tall as the S. So, in size-wise, it's a little deceiving. It's not like you're going to go to replace your S and be like, oh my God, it's so much smaller. It's going to be comparable, but yes, it will be smaller. I think that, like I said before, I think the price point that they came out at, I don't think that they hit the mark. I think that they needed to be about $50 cheaper to really... And I know $50 at that point is, not really a big deal, but I just think whenever the PS4 Pro is $400 and you're $100 more, that's a game. That's a game you can't buy. So if you had $500, you could buy an Xbox One Pro and a game, or an Xbox One Pro and another controller if you already had PS4 games. Whereas now you go to buy the Xbox One S, you're going to invest $500, which is hefty amount of change. And with the price cuts they do on the Xbox One S and the regular console, it's not like if you go to trade that in at like a GameStop, your trading value is going to be shit.
Yeah,
so you're going to be floating most of that $500 bill, which makes it not as accessible to, I would say, quite a few people. Because you've got to have that 4K TV to really take advantage of it. So I don't know. I don't think the market is really saturated with 4K. I would say it's probably, there's a fair amount of them out there, but I would say that most of the market of players that are out there playing now aren't playing on a 4K TV. So
Yeah.
the whole draw of having the 4K graphics isn't there to over half your market. So, the price is high to make that leap. You got to spend, you don't have to spend, but I would say you'd spend between $500 to $1,000 to get a decent 4K TV. Then you got to spend another $500 on the console. So now you're looking at $1,500, which if you dial it back a little bit, now you're looking at a decent PC.
Yeah.
So graphically, you could be playing on a real good PC for that same amount of money. So it's, now we're blurring the lines where we don't have the definitive console, PS5 and, the next Xbox. They're doing these console refreshes and enhancing them like a computer. But now we're really blurring the line where, the draw of the console is the fact that it was cheaper. So now whenever, if you wanted to take advantage of a 4K gaming console, if you didn't have a 4K TV, you're going to be in spending as much money as you would on a PC, which I think is not good for consoles because that's what you wanted to steer away from. You wanted to be the affordable option, and I think they're distancing themselves from that.
So that will come out on November 7th. They announced that the backwards compatibility for original Xbox games, which I'm really excited for. Now, it depends on how many games they do. There's a couple games that I'd like to play again. The Obi-Wan game being probably number one. I love that game. I'd love to play that again.
I'll tell you one game that I would love to play again that I would put money down that it won't be backwards capable, maybe not for a while. I can't even remember if it was a Xbox game. Chrome Hounds?
Yeah.
Chrome Hounds and Xbox? I'm going to check that out while you go ahead.
I think, wasn't that a 360?
It could have been.
No, yeah, that'd be an awesome one too. Now they did announce, what was the game that they announced would be Red Skies? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, no, Crimson.
Crimson.
Yeah, Crimson Skies.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then they showed their Forza Motorsport 7, which I always show a Forza game.
It was for the Xbox 360.
Okay.
Chrome Hounds was an Xbox 360. It was released June 29th of 2006, so it's it's almost going to see its 11th birthday here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And, boy, wouldn't that be great if that came back?
That would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I'd be pretty hyped for that.
I don't know, for a game like that, they'd have to get servers for it again since it was multiplayer?
I think you would get enough people to justify at least having...
Probably.
And plus, back in the day, the server game was a whole different story than it was now. Now it'd be no problem to have a server to run as many people that would play Chrome Hounds. It wouldn't take it's not going to be the same deal as like playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
You're going to dial it down a notch or two or 100.
Yeah, so the new Forza game, looked good graphics wise. They had the new Porsche, their flagship supercar, revealed at the same time, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was out of all the conferences, I think that was probably one of the most neat things.
Yeah.
Was anybody from that conference going to be able to buy that Porsche? You don't know, but at the same time, it was just something cool.
Yeah. Then Metro Exodus was one game that I thought looked really good.
Yeah, graphically.
Graphically and game wise.
Yeah, definitely.
Both looked good.
Yeah, I had seen the Metro games before. Always thought they looked good. This gave me a reason to buy them. So last week, after seeing the Metro Exodus reveal, I went and bought both the Metro games, the redos on the Xbox One. Played a little bit of them. We were on vacation, so it was one of those things where didn't invest a whole lot of time into it. But it's a fun game, and I look forward to getting into it and seeing what it's really all about. I really just probably scratched the surface of it, but I think that Metro Exodus is really going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I agree. Then Player Unknown's Battleground, it was announced it will be an exclusive launch on Xbox One, which I mean, I don't know if it's probably not a huge game, but I thought it was a cool thing for Microsoft to get. I think it's still developing a good fan base, but just another exclusive to help out Xbox.
I think it'll help out Xbox more than you think because a game like that on a multiplayer console, it like we said about blurring the lines between PC and console.
Mm-hmm.
This is blurring it in a good way.
Yeah.
This game I thought looked good. I have a PC that could run it, but I know more people on the Xbox, so you get into a same place as 5 or 6 people you can start to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that I like the premise of this game, so that looks really good to me as far as a game that's coming up, and I really like the fact that it's Xbox One exclusive.
Mm. Now, one thing I don't remember them talking about much this year was the Play Anywhere thing. Like that was a big thing last year.
Yeah, I think that kind of went the way.
Did it? Because I was wondering, like this
well,
game.
I just don't think it probably caught. I don't think that they've eliminated it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that it took off like they thought it was going to. So they just probably just didn't mention it.
Yeah.
And not that it's going to go away or not that they're going to do away with it, but it's just that it just wasn't there for them as far as to bring it to attention at this year.
Because it seemed like this would be a game that play on Xbox or PC. That would be
right.
And State of Decay 2 was announced. They showed a trailer and some gameplay for that. We talked about that before. It looks good. I'm excited to see the multiplayer in it.
Yeah.
Probably play it. Sea of Thieves. This was a game that I think it looks cool. I'm not sure I will get it. Like I think I would have fun kind of exploring the islands, finding the treasures and stuff. But I don't know.
I watched gameplay footage of Ubisoft's pirate game.
Yeah.
And Sea of Thieves, if they're in the same release window, Sea of Thieves doesn't even stand a chance because I'll tell you what, the Ubisoft pirate game looks amazing.
It does.
I loved the pirate, the ship parts of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This seems to have taken that, dialed it to 11. The different styles of ships and stuff. I am really looking forward to this and seeing, or to the Ubisoft pirate game, I should say.
Yeah, it reminds me of the World of Warships game, just with like pirates.
Yeah.
Looks good. Next from Microsoft was the Life is Strange prequel, Before the Storm. I talked about that a little bit before. I played the first one a little bit and wasn't real interested in it, but if you liked it, then I'm sure you'll like this. Crackdown 3. It was weird because at first when we saw it, like the first time they showed it, it looked bad. Like I was like, wow, there's no way I'm getting that. Then they came to it later and showed more gameplay and it looked better. So
yeah, the trailer that they showed this year is definitely improved from the last trailer that they had released for it. To the point where it, like you said, it was a game where I wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't even consideration to, depending on the release window. It may be a definite get because it did look pretty cool, and the destruction and the level of, I mean, it just was presented almost a completely different way than it was in the previous trailer. So, so we'll see where that goes. I mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword though, because it's like, well, what happened to where it was to where it is now? Something's big changed, and has anything suffered because of that? So I guess we'll see as it gets closer to its release if it stays true to that form or if it changes again.
Yeah. Then we had Middle-earth Shadow of War coming out later this year. And then the next game is one of the top runners for me, like one of the best games at E3 this year was Anthem, BioWare's new game. And this game just looked awesome to me.
Yeah, I'll be excited.
Should we look at the trailer for it? Yeah, we can watch a little bit of it. This game just looks. I'll have to switch over.
Now we've got floaty mics.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
So the premise of the game, I guess, is there's just like this big wall protecting civilization from creatures. Yeah, like a big storm, I guess. And then they have these robots, and really a big thing for me is how customizable these robots are. Like if you could switch weapons or switch armor, switch how your robot works, that would. I mean, I'd definitely be sold.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like it might have a little bit of like the Armor Core level of customization. There are different sizes and levels of mech. I know right here this is like your mid-range mech, you know, can carry some decent weapons and stuff. And then in a second here they're going to show a heavy mech that probably, like, the thing with the heavy mech is it probably can't sustain long flight times. I have a feeling because, and this is just speculation, because later on in this trailer, they show them bringing in two friends, and it looks like one of them has a light mech, and that it's floating like the whole time. So that's kind of a cool aspect. Too, yeah. Depending on what you can do and what kind of weapons, and you know, it looks graphically, it looks amazing. Looks very strong. So it'll be interesting to see.
I like that. It's cool. The running.
Yeah, yeah, the
boosted.
jets propel you. Yeah.
Also, how open it is. I'd be curious to see that, if it's an open world or if it's more guided. But I mean, it seems pretty open, but we don't know if they're just flying that way, if you have to fly that way or
right.
Yeah, that
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Next, or that was it for Microsoft, and we had Bethesda. We had Fallout 4 VR and Doom VFR announced, and I think both of these look really cool. We'll pull up this trailer too. And starting with the Vault coming out. Really, what looked cool to me, this is cool. Just lift the different objects, make your suits, go in the suits, and then this part coming up with the different stuff you can build, like that looks awesome to me. Being able to hold up the different items and scroll through them like that, and then the placing the items here, just pointing to the wall and putting stuff on it. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't really get into Fallout 4, so will it do good in VR? I'm sure it'll be a pretty neat experience. With as much movement and stuff that you have to do, I don't know if there'll be any, motion sickness or anything that you would incur, just because it is such a heavy moving based game that I don't know. Plus, a lot of the times where you just whip yourself around, you're not going to be necessarily able to do that in VR. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Yeah,
same with Doom. I mean, Doom is much faster.
Oh yeah, Doom is definitely gonna. If you get motion sickness, then yeah, you're gonna have some issues with Doom.
Yeah,
no doubt.
And we had the Creation Club, which allows Bethesda and other developers to create mods that you can purchase with credits. Now, they didn't say anything about buying credits or if you can earn credits or how that works, but I'm not sure if this is. Kind of seems like to me it's just kind of a way for them to make money off the mods.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I didn't like how it was presented. I think Bethesda is getting kind of, not that they don't put out good games, but they're kind of seeming like they're greedy,
Yeah.
ZeniMax, isn't ZeniMax part of them?
Yeah.
And they went after Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
I just they're they're kind of coming off as being money hungry, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, first they had that you can get mods on the consoles, and I thought that's really cool. Now they're switching to this where, you know, you can buy the mods with these credits. It's like, okay, well, I'm not sure if I like the direction this is going, but
Yeah.
And then Skyrim was announced for Switch. You can use amiibos to get different items, like dressing up as Link in the game. They had Elder Scrolls Legends, Heroes of Skyrim, so I guess a DLC for Elder Scrolls Legends. Dishonored 2 DLC, which will be a standalone adventure with Billy Lurk, which I guess is a character in the game. I haven't played it. And then they announced a couple new games, Evil Within 2, which I never finished the first one, but I did enjoy it. It was kind of a tough game, and I never got through it. And Wolfenstein 2, which looked awesome. Again, It's up there for, I think, one of the best games.
Yeah, it looked good. I definitely did like the artistic direction of it. But given some of the like the Creation Club, and I don't know, I just right now for me, and this is just totally personal basis, Bethesda isn't in my good graces. You know, it's just kind of, you know, it just kind of seems kind of shady. You know, I don't know, but like I said, that's just me personally. And I might miss out on some good games. I don't know, but the kicker is in today's market, there's no shortage of good games.
No.
So, you know, Bethesda not saving face and doing some of these things might lose some business. Well, I mean, like if they came out with Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls, you know, 6, you know, I might be hard pressed to want to get them after my past experience and given this. So, I mean, they could potentially be losing out on I don't know, maybe a substantial amount, maybe just not even a substantial amount. But you know, for me, I'm not gonna, you know, buy a Bethesda game anytime soon. Even though I like the Wolfenstein 2, I probably won't get it. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I said, with so many companies bringing these awesome games to the table. I mean, well, let's go back. BioWare bringing Anthem. Now, BioWare brought out Mass Effect, the new one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't well received and stuff, but I'll tell you what, I like the looks of Anthem to the point where I'm gonna get it. You know, so it's one of those things where BioWare isn't pulling any shady shit, but they're definitely gonna get my business. You know, so.
And then lastly for Bethesda, BJ Blazkowicz is coming to Quake Champions, a new character. And that was a game I was when it first was announced, I was excited, and then I never played it, which happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sony opened up, I think, with Days Gone, which is kind of an open world, stealthy zombie game. And there was some cool stuff I really liked in it, like how he snuck by the zombies and then later used them to take out a group. I thought that was cool. So I'll probably keep an eye on that game.
The game looked really good. I'll just say that just the way Sony opened their press conference and stuff was very unimpressive.
Yeah.
Now, I guess at the end of the day, it's not the press conference, it's the games, you know? And overall, they did bring some decent games to the table. I mean, Days Gone was probably one of the better ones for me as far as, you know, Sony games or Sony announcement games. We'll talk about some more coming up, but overall, I just didn't think their presentation was that great. But
no, it's funny because remember I mentioned that they usually open up like with a big orchestra and stuff, and then they have like 5 people.
Yeah, well, that not to say that wasn't bad or that wasn't good or whatever. Yeah. It just was. It was not as flashy and you know, as the Xbox One and as other ones. So
they did some cool stuff. Like was it for the zombie game or whatever? They had the zombies hanging on the trees.
Yeah, that was
cool.
Yeah, that was neat. But I think it was too underplayed. I think they didn't bring enough attention to it. and they were really cool set pieces. That was a really cool set piece, and I think it was a missed opportunity. I'm sure the people there got to take advantage
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
more than the people watching from home, which is, more than the people that are watching there. So they really missed an opportunity to bring another level of excitement to their press conference.
Yeah. Then they had Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which is I don't really know the story of Uncharted, but I don't think it has Nathan Drake in it. I think it's kind of a separate
It looked all right,
but connected thing.
It's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's just an add-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And then Shadow of Colossus, they're gonna remake for the PS4. I'd never played it, but I thought it looked
yeah,
pretty
that
good.
if you haven't played it, to anyone, it's a definite recommend. I thought the first time I played it, really good, really awesome gameplay and stuff. So that's probably one I'll pick up too. I could probably safely say I'll get that one.
Yeah. Then they had the God of War game, which we'd seen a little bit before. I think it looks good. I don't know if I'll get it.
Yeah, the artistic direction, kind of, they've switched gears, and I don't know if I like. I mean, I like the old God of War that was kind of realistic but kind of cartoony.
Yeah.
It kind of had it had its own art style, and they've gone to a more realistic art style, which I think is kind of for me, it doesn't do it for me, but
Yeah. Now earlier we talked about Crackdown 3 switching up how the game looked. Now the game didn't do it more than Detroit Become Human. I think they showed this last year at E3, and that was
very small script. But this year it was more story driven. The trailer, and go ahead.
I just know last year we saw a little bit of it, and I was really excited for it. You're like this detective that's an android, and you go and analyze a room. Then you have to make these decisions. That affect lives and stuff. And then this year it was like it's more about an android revolution.
Yeah, and I think that your decisions still carry heavy impacts, but not. I don't know if. And I think you're thinking the same thing, that I don't really care for the android revolution.
No, I don't care.
I kind of like the whole androids working with humans to solve cases and stuff, and kind of bringing that android's unique ability to multi-process different scenarios to solve the case was kind of a cool thought. And now you're using your multi thing to lead a revolution. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, do you want to be peaceful, or do you want to be violent against the humans? And do androids have feelings, and they have for people? It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Definitely took it a different way.
Yeah.
Not for the good.
No. And especially, I saw a story today that they were talking to David Cage, who made the game, and about the message that was behind the game. And basically he said, oh, no, there's no message. I mean, we just made a game. And they're like, yeah, but it's about this revolution and basically people's rights, civil rights. He's like, nope, I didn't mean any of that. I'm like, come on, that's BS.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. You don't just you as a game developer, they're trying to convey something, especially in a game like this. Now, maybe in like your Call of Duty World War II, like the next game, you're trying to convey a story of what it would have been like in World War II. You aren't gonna, like, okay, Wolfenstein tries to convey the story of what it would have been like if the German Nazis would have won.
Yeah.
So I mean, every game kind of has something that they're trying to convey. So to just say it doesn't have any message is bullshit.
Yeah. And if you want to convey that message, that's great. But then don't back away from it and say, no, we didn't do that. Like, own up to it. But anyway, next, like you said, we had Call of Duty World War II. I think pretty much what we expected from that.
Yeah, nothing new or nothing exciting. I mean, it looks graphically, it looks good. Whether the gameplay translates to good gameplay and good multiplayer, we'll see.
Yeah. There's a DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn called The Frozen Wilds that they announced. And then some PSVR games. We had Skyrim, which looked pretty cool. just being able to do the magic and different weapons and stuff. Bravo Team, Star Child, The Inpatient, Moss, and Final Fantasy 15 Fishing.
Not really strong showing for PSVR.
No.
Nothing was like earth shattering. Nothing was like, oh, I gotta play that. I mean, people that like Skyrim probably would that'd probably be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But for me, not being a Skyrim fan, the whole, and I liked Final Fantasy. I didn't play through the whole thing, but even Final Fantasy 15 Fishing isn't enough to make me go out and buy the $400 or $500 headset. So
I couldn't believe it. I mean, it started out fishing. I thought, okay, they're gonna move on to other stuff. Nope, it's just fishing.
Yeah.
And then they had Monster Hunter World, which I was interested in. I'll probably keep watching it and see what it's like. But.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited at first whenever I thought that's what it was, but then whenever they showed it like it was, I didn't really care for it, just because it didn't seem like that was the Monster Hunter of old that I used to see on the Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
It looks like they tried to make the graphics too realistic. They changed the art direction. It looks like they also kind of changed the gameplay to make it more mature. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. It's one of those games where it could change art direction. It looked like it was pretty early on yet in the build, so maybe there's time for redemption.
Yeah, and again, as with most games, it comes down to, I'm not sure when it was going to be released or if they announced it, but if there's another game that I like, I probably won't get it. But if there's nothing else, maybe I'll check it out.
All right.
And then next, and I think kind of a redeemer for me for Sony. Still, overall, I wasn't that impressed, but the Spider-Man game I thought looked pretty cool, and we'll just look at a little footage of it. I really liked how the movement was and how the fighting, the different attacks and stuff you could do, I thought was really cool. One big thing, though, for me is if it's an open world. I really hope it is, and if it's not, that'll take it away a little bit from me, but...
I agree. It almost has to be open world.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think, like here, showing like that. I mean, that kind of gives me the open world vibe. Whether you could do that, and this is a little bit different footage of than we saw at E3.
Yeah.
That they had shown a very story driven thing, and this shows more kind of free range, and looks more exciting and, like I said, more open than the trailer they showed, which is good because this gets me back on the excited train for it. Prior to that, and especially if you can have these big set pieces where you're whipping around cranes and doing all that crazy stuff that they're showing, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Now, if they could like work in, have it be open world, but then set up these missions where you have these big set pieces, I think that would be really cool, and I think that would make it an incredible game. But.
Yeah, I think that there will be big set pieces, but I think they'll be behind the main story. But if you go back, I don't know if you can find it in the trailer where there was a crane. Something like that, if you could incorporate it into like
this part was cool. I like the attacks like this.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is really cool.
And it looks like and there's the crane. I mean, this has the potential for some pretty cool open pieces that are if it's open world, I think it'll do phenomenal.
Yeah, I do too.
It's not based off a movie. That's already a thumbs up for it. So I think that there's a lot of potential there as far as that goes. So I'm excited to see where they take that. So
yeah. Also, that it features Wilson Fisk was really cool. I think a good move now with the Daredevil TV show and Fisk being a popular character on that kind of gets me excited for it too. And then we have Ubisoft, which they talked about a Mario plus Rabbids game. I probably won't get it. But
yeah.
If you're a fan of those. And then we had Assassin's Creed Origins, which I mean graphically looked really good.
I like the gameplay. I
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
gameplay footage. I'm definitely gonna get it.
Yeah, I most likely will too.
It's one of those games where I'll be excited because this is the one that they've taken a little time off of to,
Mm-hmm.
further, make sure it's, a more polished product. And I'm really anxious to see because all the Assassin's Creed, they may have not been like super rock solid, but for me, they were always good enough to provide me with a good gameplay. Kept me coming back for hours and hours of gameplay. So I'll be excited to see where they take that one.
Yeah. Then we had The Crew 2, which was like an all-around racing game. You could do it on land, in the air, and the sea. It looked pretty cool. I don't know. I don't think I'll get it, but it looked like it had some cool plane, boat, and then like street races or races on tracks.
Yeah.
And it looked good.
Yeah.
Then we had Transference, which was kind of a strange VR game. Elijah Woods, connected to his development company, I guess, is help making it. And we'll do the trailer here because it's kind of hard to explain.
You gotta put it on the.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking to sort of bring, what sense you have of storytelling and put that into the context of the world.
Pretty much they talk about, like in the 90s, there was an experiment tracking brain waves. And I don't know. I don't really know what the VR game is about, but it definitely caught my attention. Kind of has all these weird cryptic scenes in it later on. I don't know if it's just kind of be like a creepy VR game or what, but
Or it should be have something that really moves you.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'll
yeah.
be exciting to see. Like you said, they don't really give you a lot to go on.
no.
So it'll be exciting what direction they take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they said they want to have an effect. Like they want you to take it with it after you take off the headset. So I guess it's supposed to really affect you. I don't know. But yeah, definitely going to keep my eye on that one. Then we had
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this. I watched a trailer from E3 where it was a multiplayer trailer where you had 5 ships and you took on a team of other 5 ships, and your goal was to get as much treasure as you could in a certain amount of time. And then what happened was once you did that and you kind of had taken out the other team, then AI controlled third team came in and tried to stop you from getting that loot. And I don't know if that loot is a way for you to build up your ship and build up your upgrades, kind of like an experience points kind of thing. So it looked cool. Basically what happened was the one ship sacrificed itself so the main ship could get away.
That was really cool.
And like I said, I think graphically it looks great, and artistically it has a cool style to it. So I'm really excited to see where this one goes.
I am too. Like you said, different ships, the long range ones, the ones that you want to take up and ram other ships with, looks really cool. One thing I'll be curious to see though is, do you just control the ship from behind, or can you like do other things on the ship? Or because the one part they went up to board the other ship and like the guys jumped off and it said boarding successful, and then they kept going. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool to go and fight or do other stuff, but
I don't know if maybe just in that multiplayer mode that they don't have that,
maybe.
Because the thing about it is if you think about it in that multiplayer mode, you can't have 2 ships preoccupied with boarding battle whenever you have another ship that could come and could essentially take out, now that is how it would be in real life, or or realistically, that somebody could come up and board your ship while you're boarding another. But I think in the gameplay, to ease aggravation and not make it more frustrating than it needs to be, that basically if you get boarded, then that's kind of a way for them to steal gold in that game mode and you move on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that they don't try to make it over complex, and I think that's a good move if that's what they're thinking. You know, that's just speculation, but that's the feeling I got from it. So
Yeah, it definitely looks good. Then we had another interesting game was Starlink Battle for Atlas. I thought this was a cool idea that you have these ships that you connect to your controller, and then there's space battles, and you can go down to planets and fight creatures on the planet. And like the one example they showed was you're fighting like this ice creature, and you have these ice weapons. They don't work, so on your controller you physically take them off, put on like a fire weapon, and then it switches in the game, and you can fight like that. And I thought it was a really cool idea. I don't think I'll get it, but
right.
So,
I think
how
the
good
idea
is
is
it?
novel, but
Yeah.
I think it's just a money sink. I think by the time you get cool parts and have enough parts that you can go in a battle and say, oh, I have my ice weapons on, time to switch to my fire weapons. Well, that cost you $10-15 to get the fire weapons pack, you know, so you can swap that out. It is an interesting idea, though. I think it'd have been cool, minus that controller stuff, to have a game like that where maybe you can't switch out on the fly, but maybe you're fighting and, I got to fly off and, go to a outpost and switch out my weapons because in this land my ice weapons are useless. So I need to switch to fire weapons or something like that. But, whatever. We'll see.
Probably more aimed at kids too, go after those.
I thought it looked cool.
Well, I did too. I'm just saying.
And we're not kids, so I think that's
get that toy market money too.
Yeah.
Then we had Far Cry 5, which looks good. I'm definitely gonna get that one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Forget all that controversy
Yeah.
bullshit. That is gonna be a solid playing game. That if you're a fan of first-person shooters, if you're a fan of Ubisoft games like Division, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, the previous Far Cry games, you are not going to be disappointed with that game.
No.
You could just tell from, just little things that they showed, like the dog attacking an enemy and then grabbing its gun, bringing it back to you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Having a little bit of control over a hired gun and putting a sniper up in the water tower while you go in there and kind of, rip shit up from the ground and they're picking off people from the air. Awesome. Same way with the airplane coming in and doing the Gatling gun and the truck coming in and wrecking shit. I think it looked great.
I do too. Then we had Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a prequel to the original one, which I never played. I watched the trailer, and it was definitely an interesting trailer. Like the whole time I don't know, it was cool, but kind of weird, and too.
Yeah, they definitely went a different art style. The first one wasn't. It was more cartoonish and it was definitely a different art style. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it beyond what they've shown. Once we see some gameplay, that's going to be the telltale. Maybe that CG trailer was not a accurate representation of what the game's going to be at all. Maybe that was just a teaser just to get people pumped. I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. And then next we have Nintendo. They announced Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And they announced a Kirby game coming out for Switch. It'll be a co-op adventure game. And they teased a core Pokemon RPG that they're working on. We might see more next year. They said it'll still be a while for that. Metroid Prime 4 is in development. They announced a remake of Metroid Samus Returns. That'll be coming out soon. A Yoshi game, Fire Emblem Warriors, which looks cool.
Yeah, the Fire Emblem Warriors has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's going to stifle it is the fact that it's only available on a Nintendo console. Yeah. I think that a Fire Emblems game that was brought out for the Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox One would do awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would do great because people from different consoles appreciate stuff. The same way with a Metroid game. You could kill with a Metroid game.
Oh, yeah.
But fundamentally, would it be the same as playing a Metroid game on Xbox? No. It would be tainted, But who cares if it's fun?
Yeah. No, they did a Hyrule Warriors game for the Wii U, which I got and I loved. I played the whole way through that and played it a ton. But yeah, definitely stinks it'll only be on the Switch. And then they announced Breath of the Wild DLC called the Master Trials. They'll have the Trial of the Sword, which are these trials you go through, and then I think it powers up the Master Sword if you complete it. Master Mode, Hero's Path, which was cool. On the map, it actually shows you like where you travel all over the map. A travel medallion, and then other masks and armor. And then Super Mario Odyssey, which I think was their big game they were pushing this E3. Which again didn't really. Even if I had a Switch, I'm not even sure if I did get that, but I'm not a big Mario fan. Yeah, that was pretty much it for E3. Overall, I think Microsoft was probably the most impressive to me. I mean, just with the console, and they had a few good games. But overall, I think it was kind of an underwhelming E3, I thought.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think that there's a lot of really good games coming out for gamers.
Yeah.
And as far as announcements, I mean, the Xbox One X was probably the most. It was expected, but it was probably the most. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think overall, I think there's a lot of good games coming up, a lot to be excited for, and anytime that you can really get a good look at, like, that pirate game from Ubisoft, I didn't even know that was on the radar.
No.
And it was really refreshing, getting excited. Like, I'm really excited for that. And also with the Spider-Man game, really just refreshing to get excited about something different. Far Cry 5. We've played Far Cry 4. We've played the other Ubisoft games like that. But it's going to be good. It looks awesome. But at the end of the day, it's kind of nice to mix it up a little bit with these new titles and these sequels, and just to see all that good stuff that's coming out.
I guess one thing I didn't really think about until now was up until the past year. Now doing this show, I definitely do a lot more research into what's coming up. So I guess years before, I didn't really have much of an idea, so there were more surprises. And now that you kind of know what's going on, I guess that has a lot to do with it too. So There are a lot of good games coming out. One thing I can't believe I didn't mention was Sony No Last of Us 2. Like, what? They tease it, and then they don't talk about it at E3 at all. Like, I have no idea why.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they weren't far enough to bring it to the table.
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, and you know this to be true. Game trailers and games live and die by E3. How many times do we see comparisons of, this is the E3 footage compared to what it actually released?
Yeah.
So I don't. The fact that they didn't show that, is it a bummer? Yes, but it's better that they not show it than show something that is not even close to an accurate like Crackdown.
That's true.
Like Crackdown 3. We saw that preview for it a while ago, and we're like, this looks like shit, garbage.
Yeah.
Now we see the new E3 trailer, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I might get this.
Yeah.
This looks good. This looks like Crackdown 1. I kind of have that same kind of, oh man, I'd like to play that kind of feeling. So a trailer can make or break a game, and especially whenever you're at a big reveal time like E3, you don't want to bring out a shitty trailer and kind of taint a game. So I don't blame them for not doing it.
I just thought it was a little odd that they didn't even mention it at all.
Well, I think that they were probably anticipating on showing a trailer for it, and
maybe
somebody said, pump the brakes, this isn't good. Let's not show anything, as opposed to showing something that's not going to do us any favors. So.
Yeah. Okay, then we had the Steam Summer Sale started today. Just deals today that I think South Park: The Stick of Truth was $7.50, and Shadow of Mordor was $4. So both have sequels come out if you're interested.
Is that today only?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I might have to go home and buy South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking too.
All right.
But yeah, keep an eye on those sales. We have a free Spider-Man Homecoming VR experience coming to PSVR, the HTC Vive, and Oculus Rift on June 30th, which I'm looking forward to, especially because it's free. I mean, I'll definitely download that and try it out. It reminded me a little bit of the Batman one, just because you get the suit, or the case with the suit, then take the mask on and put on, but I'd still be a fan of that.
Right.
And then Star Wars, the Han Solo film, lost its directors. I think that was just this past Monday. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were fired while well into the shooting for the movie, which is the strange part because directors come and go. I mean, it's not uncommon, but to be this far in the shooting and for them to be fired was, like I said, a little strange. Both them and Kathleen Kennedy said that they just had different creative visions. Lord and Miller said, "We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences, but for once this cliche is true." Lord and Miller made 21 Jump Street and the Lego movie. I think what kind of happened was, and this is all speculation, I don't think anyone on the outside really knows, but Lawrence Kasdan co-wrote The Empire Strikes Back, and Raiders of the Lost Ark wrote this film's screenplay with his son John. And these two guys coming from TV and then making these big comedies, I don't know, I just say people got the feeling that they were kind of making it into a lighter movie or a funnier movie than the script was intentionally wrote for. And especially since Lawrence, I guess, has kind of a reputation of sticking to the script. And I guess people are saying that they probably wanted to take it in a different direction, and they said no, so they were let go. But kind of a bummer. I mean, this happened with Rogue One, and look how Rogue One turned out. So
yeah, and I think probably overall, there's probably lots of people at Disney backing it and saying, listen, this is kind of where we need to take this movie. And, you know, maybe they were hoping that those guys would have added their little twist or little flavor to it.
Maybe.
But overall would have captured what Disney was trying to do with it. And I don't know. As long as it's to the Rogue One caliber,
yeah,
I think I'll be pleased.
Yeah.
Just as long as there isn't another Death Star. For the love of God, enough of the Death Stars. I hope Disney's listening. No more Death Stars.
We got enough.
Yeah, we've got our fill of Death Stars.
I mean, Lawrence, like I said, he did write The Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark, so I'm not sure why I'm doubting him, but I mean, it'll probably be good. But
I don't think there's a Death Star in Empire Strikes Back. Maybe at the end a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't want to ruin his vision.
Right. But then it was just announced yesterday or today that Ron Howard is now taking over directing, which it's kind of weird to go from these guys who made these great comedies to Ron Howard, who did The Da Vinci Code and other pretty serious movies. But like I said,
we'll see.
We'll see how it turns out. Yeah. That's pretty much it for our topics. I haven't really been playing much myself since we got back. It's been pretty busy, but we got through Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of deciding what I want to take on next. But
yeah, the end of Wildlands was very anticlimactic. Especially playing through it once and then doing it the second time and learning the tricks of the trade. We won't spoil anything for anyone, but let's just say helicopter. And we'll leave it as that.
Code word is helicopter.
Yeah, the people that have played it will understand. The people that haven't, maybe we'll help them out. Maybe we won't. But it was one of those things where overall the game was a lot of fun. Had a lot of good times playing it multiplayer and doing all this stuff. But now that it's all said and done and it's over, it's kind of like, yeah, let's play something else. So, I mean, granted, definitely put my fair share of hours into it. So, I definitely got my money's worth out of it. But now it's time to move on. So.
Yep. So that's it for this week. I was glad to be getting back to this. And we are live from E3, as you can see. People are listening. You can't tell, but either way, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. SoundCloud, we always put up there if you just want to listen to it or whatever. Wherever you want it, you can pretty much get it. And we will see you next time.